Welcome back to another Farming Simulator 25 video and a bit of a map preview, map tour, I think kind of video, bit of a weird little video, I guess. It's a bit of an insight into a map that I'm going to be using for future testing and showing off something that Marnux Mapping has done. And if you guys like it, maybe you can convince him to release it. He's done this map for me. He had a free day, put it together for me so that I can do some testing more easily, because he's awesome. It's currently called Disturbia. I suspect if he releases it, it probably needs a more sensible name. But anyway, it's a very simple map. It has 14 fields on it that are all the same size. And it has a nice big flat build area. Basically the basics you need to do a lot of testing. So it's also set up really to help with kind of like precision farming testing and that kind of thing. So let's have a quick look at the PDA and I'll kind of talk you through the map. So if we go to the PDA, you'll see, and I've got it on the precision farming view at the moment, but applies whether you're using precision farming or not. So we've got these 10 fields. They're all 2 hectares, so they're all exactly the same size. And I'll cut some footage in and I'll talk about at the end. I've done some baseline testing of the map as well, but all of these fields have sandy loam in them, so you get 100% yield. If you're using precision farming, if you're not, it'll be fine. But they're all exactly the same size. You get exactly the same yield off, and I'll show you from my baseline testing that I've done that is the case at the end of the video. And then we've got 4 fields over here, which have the 4 different soil types. Again, these are all the same size. So really good for doing testing of different things, whether that's if you want to test different crops or different methods of farming. You can just put each one in a different field and you don't have to keep saving and reloading. That's, I was chatting to Marnux about doing some testing and having to keep saving and reloading. So he's done this for me so that I don't have to do that. Now, there's the funny thing at the moment with precision farming that things like liming aren't working particularly well. So it's going to make things a little bit tricky. But once some of the bugs are worked out, this is going to be great for doing some of that testing. So yeah, we've got a map with 10 fields that are the same size, the same soil type. So we can do a whole load of testing of what happens if you change different things across the fields. So that's what this is set up for. We've got a store just here, which has an absolutely huge buy area, and it's right next to the fields. You can get a whole load of stuff delivered here. We've got a workshop if you need it, just there. Then there are 2 required mods for the map. I know, absolutely terrible, but that gives you a buy anything and a sell anything point, so that if you need to buy anything or sell anything, you can. There's a sleep trigger, and then down here there's an animal dealer, so if you want to test anything with animals, you can. As part of that, there's a manure and slurry buy point as well. And then there's just a huge flat area for if you want to test things with animals or whatever. You can put animal pens in. If you want to test things with productions, you can put all the productions in that you want. So basically it just saves you setting up a map for testing. If you've watched many of my testing videos from FS22 or FS25, I always used to have to start by making a big flat area on a map or whatever, and that's what inspired Marnux to create this for me. So yeah, and he's done a lot more than I expected. He's put in, bits of decoration and stuff. It's a really cool little map for doing testing on, and that's what it's meant as. It's not really meant for playing a let's play on and that kind of thing, but if you're someone who does a lot of testing, it's really useful, which is what I have been and tend to do. So yeah, we've got, say, 10 fields that are exactly the same size. I went for 2 hectares because I was doing testing on a slightly smaller field than this, and 2 just seemed like a nice round number it gives you a yield that is enough that you can spot differences in, and it doesn't take too long to work on. So yeah, and they're a nice regular shape, so workers can do stuff on them. Courseplay works brilliantly on them, as you'll see in a moment. And yeah, it's not really a lot more to say, because it's, you know, it's quite a basic, simple map, because that's what it's meant to be. Yeah, so I guess if you would like to see this map on ModHub, stick a comment down below to encourage Marnux to release it, show him that it's worth releasing. Bear in mind, it is meant to be a testing map. It is not meant to be a, you know, map that you play properly. You could, I guess, but it's not meant to be. When you start the game in New Farmer mode, you own the whole map. You don't have any equipment, but you own the whole map. I guess if you're on console and you want to do testing, stick a government subsidy sign in or two, get a bunch of money. On PC, just use the GS money at console command or power tools. So I'll switch across now to some pre-recorded footage of me baselining these 10 fields without precision farming, just to show that they do in fact all give exactly the same yield, because that's what I wanted to do to set this, to ensure that when I do future tests on here, I'm not getting a difference, because although in Giants Editor and in the game they say they're all the same size, just to check they are actually giving the same amount of crop when you do the same thing. Okay, so what we've got is the first 5 fields being ploughed with Courseplay and the GT plough. Yeah, and I was using John Deere. I used almost exclusively John Deere's for doing this work. So we've now got the other 5 being ploughed and the first 5 being planted with wheat. I don't know why I decided to do it this way. Why I didn't just get 10-10, but yeah, it didn't take that long to do all of this really. And then we have all 10 fields ready to harvest with wheat. 10 combines running at once on Courseplay, and annoyingly the yield was high enough that it wouldn't all fit in the combines. I was hoping it would. I could have used modded combines, I guess, with really large capacity, but I didn't. So yep. But you could see early on, just from watching it, when they did like the first couple of swaths, that the yield was looking the same pretty much. You can see at this point actually it's like 10,240 litres coming off of the first 2 swaths for a few of the combines. It's kind of hard to see it because I'm running the game a bit quicker, but yeah. And so I had to get some auger wagons to unload the combines to keep things flowing, which was a little bit of work, but thankfully Courseplay was pretty well behaved. So yeah. Everything did work really well actually on here. The square fields worked really well. I think you'd probably be okay with base game workers actually, with how good they are now, to do work on this. So if you were on console or if you don't use Courseplay, I think you'd be fine with workers as well for doing bulk testing of things. And that's really what this map is about. So it's not about, as I said, you know, like doing a long gameplay on here. It's about jumping on, doing some testing, carrying on with whatever you were doing. So I think most of the fields are done now, and I'm just kind of unloading the combines into the auger wagon so we can have everything in the auger wagons and see exactly how much we got off of each field. And for me this was important because I like to do testing that is reasonably accurate and organized, and I didn't want to just trust that Giants Editor and the game saying they were all 2 hectares actually meant that they were going to give me the same yield. I wanted to test that all of these fields were going to give me the same amount, because normally what I would do is save and reload and do everything in the same field. So all of them are done. Just turning off automatic engine start, so I can use Simple Inspector in the bottom corner to have all of the tractors running and just fill up the Simple Inspector window with all of the auger wagons full. And you can see so far every field had 34,710 litres of wheat come off of it. So all we need to do is get all of the tractors running, and Simple Inspector will tell us how much was in each auger wagon. And yeah, you'll see in a moment, we'll get them all up and we'll zoom in, but we did in fact get, or I did in fact get 34,710 litres of wheat off of each field. So these fields are all exactly the same size, which is great. That means that for any future testing that I want to do, I can do a different thing in each field and know that the differences that I see are because of differences in how we've done things. Apart from the fact that at the moment with precision farming, things don't seem to be working quite right. So like when you apply lime, you're not getting an even application of lime. That might be one of the first things that I test. So there you go, you can see 34,710 litres in every auger wagon. So yeah. There are a bunch of things that I'm trying to test in the background at the moment. And some of them aren't behaving as I would expect. But anyway, that's the baselining of the map. We'll jump back to the map. I'll wrap up, and that's it for this video. That's the results of baselining the main 10 fields. We do in fact get the same yield doing the same thing. That was without precision farming. I said I am a little bit worried at the moment that a lot of people are reporting that when you try and apply perfect lime, you get a very uneven result. I haven't looked yet to see how that affects the yield. This map would be perfect for that because we have the same soil type in every field. There are other things that I'm testing in the background, but as I said, currently Marnux has made this map for sort of his own, well, for me to use. I don't know if he's given it to anyone else yet. When we've been chatting, he has spoken that he might upload it to modhub. If you think he should, comment down below and let him know that he should. If this map isn't for you, you really don't need to comment. I'll probably just delete the comment because I'm fed up of dumbasses commenting on stuff they don't need to. Just move on. But yeah, that's it, I think. So I'll see you next time. Bye for now.